What's up?
What's going on?
We're using this mic that isn't really meant for this, but it's fun and it looks pretty. We are talking about the Sushi Box JC Emerald. Yeah, we're thankful they sent us over this and the Elementary to check out. So yeah, let's get into what do we think about this. This is a take or reinterpretation or whatever to get a Marshall JCM type circuit into a pedal.
I feel like nobody's really doing that.
Yeah, Sushi Box seems to do some of the circuits that like you hear people online be like, oh yeah, I'd love to plug my bass into a vintage Marshall, or I love to whatever.
Yeah.
And now at least you can figure out if you like it or not.
Yeah.
There's two tubes in it, which is pretty cool. I think right out of the gate, it was really sensitive.
It's super sensitive.
Yeah.
I about blew us up adjusting gain, like with the slightest adjustment, which is, you know, great, but I guess to be noted, you're going to have to really nail down your settings. But
yeah, and it is a preamp, so it's made to it can bring the juice. So if you're just keeping it kind of in the pedal arena, just be mindful of gain staging and stuff, especially as you want to drive it by turning up the input gain. Like that master is going to be really, really low. Yeah. And that seems to be normal and like how it's operating.
Yeah, I mean, it's sending out plenty of gain anyway, so no problems there.
One of the things is I thought the build quality is actually fantastic.
It's great.
I was nervous when I just kind of saw them online because they're almost deceptively affordable, which is crazy.
For what you're getting, 2 tubes in that small of a, like a form factor is kind of insane.
I think I could be wrong about it on these, but I think there's also an option to pay more money and get it handmade, like point to point. Cool. I don't know if he's still doing that because it looks like the demand's pretty crazy. He's selling out of stuff. He's doing runs of this kind of thing.
So yeah, seriously, it's an impressive build. It's short and it's compact. Like it is one of the smallest good sounding preamps I've ever seen.
I think what I've learned through this is that the JCM circuit is not my first choice. I liked the other pedal he sent us, which is the Elementary.
Yeah, which we got another video on, so check that out.
Check that out for sure. Subscribe, hit the like, blah, 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 blah. But it sounds freaking cool.
It sounds great.
Especially if you like it like a pretty dirty preamp, which is not something I typically do. So if you are if you're just looking for that overdriven Marshall-y type sound, you know, listen to our sound examples. Maybe this is for you. This has told me that like I probably will not ever need to spend the money on something like that for bass.
Yes, but I guess back to the pedal, I do want to say there's no Xlr Out. Some of his pedals do offer that. This one doesn't. I don't find myself missing it when you've got that small of a box to deal with and that quality of a build. So you'd have to plan around that, but that kind of leaves space to throw in a really nice DI at the end, like a Rupert Neve or, you know, whatever you'd want out of that. And he also makes a DI.
I think it's called like Simply or Simple DI.
Simple,
something like that.
Something like that.
It's on the website. Having something like a flavor box at the beginning of your pedalboard chain, having a really nice DI at the end.
Pretty sweet.
I think that's the way to go.
Pretty sweet.
It's almost like it's an effects loop in the middle. Big DIs or DIs with honking transformers and all that kind of stuff sound good. Yeah. They just, you know, they just do. And so like getting like a flavor box and a DI at the end of your chain, that seems like the best of both worlds. So I believe it's true bypass. Just kind of clicks, has a deep switch, a bright switch. Bright switch kind of on both of them and on my vintage amps. I just don't use it. It puts like a,
I don't
usually
touch
puts a bright cap in the circuit.
Let's be real, front of house is probably cutting it off anyways.
Yeah, and it just gets a little hissy. That's just how it is, and I think that's how the original amplifiers probably behave. I think the other things is the bass, mid, and treble. I don't know, the actual like, it's not a sweep, whatever you would call it. Pretty subtle.
It's subtle.
Do you think?
I immediately noticed how subtle it was, which is nice in a lot of ways. But sometimes I do really enjoy a decent mid punch.
Right.
And this pedal's not going to give you that. That's okay. It's totally part of the sound. Right. But I did find myself with a lot more usable, subtle changes. So largely the tone it's going to give you is the tone it's going to give you.
Yep.
But we both think it's pretty cool. And if it's your thing, it's a great thing. Especially for the price and size. It's unbeatable at that, if you're looking for that kind of Marshall-y thing.
Thanks for checking it out.
Absolutely.
We appreciate Sushi Box for sending this to us.
Very cool people.
These are all our actual thoughts. So, they gave us 0 parameters on like, hey, make sure you do. No, it was like, hey, check this out to review. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. We really respect that.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for checking it out.
Yeah.